What's up? If you've been looking for the best video to help you control your anger and turn it into your ally, then you are in the right place. And this video is for you. I'm JH Sapley and welcome to the Create channel, the channel that helps you create a greater difference in the world by aligning with your life purpose and becoming a member of the elite spiritual forces. And in today's masterclass, I'm going to teach you how you can use the power of your anger to grow mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Now, contrary to what you might have been made to think, anger is not an enemy. Anger is your turbocharger. It's a power that you can use to help you in your work, in your business, or any area of your life that you want to get some boost in. Now you may be saying, what do you mean? Everyone says that anger is bad. Anger is not bad. What is bad is blind, uncontrolled rage that anger can turn into if you don't handle it properly. And I talk more about it in my book, Codex Imperis. And the reason why this video is particularly relevant now is because of the situation that we're in, being made essentially prisoners in our own homes and in our own countries. And while some people think that it's a good idea, not everyone is happy with that. And it obviously triggers a lot of anger because it hints at your hidden sense of insecurity and being out of control when someone else is deciding on your life, on your freedom, and on what you're allowed to do. Now, what we must remember that every kind of anger, every single outburst, every movement that you feel within your soul in response to something that you don't think is just or right is essentially anger with yourself. Now, I will repeat it because it's super important. Every instance of anger is anger with yourself. And so people who don't understand that tend to blame their external circumstances or other people for how they make them feel. But the truth is, nobody can make you feel anything unless you allow yourself to be influenced by that. And here is a parable that illustrates it really well. So at a psychology lecture, a student comes to the professor after the lecture to ask questions. And the lecturer, who wants to illustrate his point, gives her a simple example. After having listened to her questions, he says, "Wow, I've never had such a stupid student before." And obviously, the girl started feeling upset. And so the professor, unruffled, continued, "And also, with this kind of ridiculous green hair that you have." And now the girl was really baffled and she said, "But I don't have green hair. My hair is my natural color." And the professor said, "Well, now you see my point. Now you understand how it works. So with my first comment, when I hinted at your lower intellectual abilities, and you accepted it straight away, you accepted it without judgment. You didn't say, well, that's not me, because somewhere deep inside you answer it. And that was already an insecurity that could be influenced by someone else. Because when I said, oh, you look, you've got green hair, you knew you didn't have green hair, so you knew it didn't apply to you. And this example is exactly how we function in everyday world, because when we know deep down that something is not true about us, then we won't be affected by it. But the insecurity, the feeling of disempowerment, the feeling of being a victim on some level can actually trigger a lot of anger and a lot of anxiety. So let's have a look at what really happens here. If deep down you feel that you're not in control, that you are not the master of your life and your mind, every time you get reminded of it, or something or someone triggers that within you, you naturally get upset and you naturally get triggered by it. And the reason why is because it's nature's way to help you. So what your body and your mind are doing, they're trying to give you an upper hand. They're giving you an extra boost of energy that allows you, in theory, to overcome the predicament, the danger you're in. Because when you're really angry, You stop being timid, you stop being shy, your physical strength increases, and you're suddenly capable of doing things that you may not be able to do under your normal conditions. So this is nature, your body and your mind, trying to help you and be on your side. Now, why does anger have such a bad rep then? That is because most people don't know how to deal with it. They don't know how to handle it, and so they're trying to suppress it. And this is where the problem starts. Because suppressing anger creates multiple ramifications that all are negative. Every single one of them is bad. Now, firstly, the way we are designed is that we can't suppress emotions selectively. And so if you're trying to suppress something that you don't like, you also are forced to suppress something that you do like as well. So if you're suppressing your anger, if you're suppressing your feelings of being out of place, feelings of being an alien, ineptitude, solitude, and things like that, when you're trying to suppress those, you also suppress joy, you also suppress love and the ability to enjoy your journey. And because of that, people who try to suppress their anger, they become muted in general. Have you ever met someone who just, they seem like nothing ever affects them? So they're never angry, they're never upset at anything, but they never seem to truly enjoy their life either. So they're like in an anabiotic state. They're like frozen in time, like a perpetual kryptonite kind of state. And this is what happens when they have those unprocessed, untapped emotions that are sitting within them. Now, the other bad thing that happens when you suppress your anger is that it creates an energy overload in your body that gets solidified. And I know it sounds strange, like what do you mean solidified energy? But bear with me, because energy behaves in our body in many strange ways that are not yet fully understood by common science, but they are understood really well by the traditional mystic culture and the traditional wisdom, both of the East and of the West. So this is something I'm sharing with you right now. Now, the energy, if it's not allowed to flow, can get stuck and kind of solidified. And so what it does, it creates that feeling of rigidity in your mind and in your body. Again, look at people who have been suppressing their anger or negative emotions for long enough, and you'll notice what happens to their bodies, how stiff their joints are, how stiff their bodies are, and inflexible, like they can't bend, some people actually lose the ability to function properly because they can't bend, they can't move, they can't lift weights anymore. And this is what happens because your body takes the toll. So you definitely do not want to suppress any negative emotions and allow them to sit within and poison your system. And the third reason why suppressing your anger is bad is because by doing so, you are actually losing the opportunity. You're missing out on an opportunity to do something great, to push harder, to achieve more, and to get to a place where you want to be faster on your spiritual journey. And so anger is your friend on your journey of your spiritual warriorship and developing your mind and your mindset and becoming the person that you want to be. Now, coming back to why anger has such a bad rep is because anger, if suppressed for long enough, will brew and will become a dark version of it that is rage. And in the state of rage, people are capable of horrid, absolutely atrocious things that they and everyone else regrets later on. And so this is why so many people are afraid of anger. If you handle your anger in a healthy way, if you allow it to flow, and if you channel it into what you want to do, then it becomes your ally and your friend. And keep watching, I'm going to explain how to do it in just a moment. But before we go into that, I would like to quickly recap the reasons why suppressing your anger is so bad for you. So firstly, it robs you of the ability to love and feel gratitude and feel joy on your life and connecting with other people. Now, secondly, it harms your body, it makes it more rigid, and it doesn't allow you to perform at your best. Third reason is that by doing so, you miss out on the opportunity to achieve something greater, to push yourself harder, and to actually get faster to where you want to be. And essentially, you just squander your power. And reason number 4 is that by suppressing your anger or any negative emotion in the long run, you create a buildup within that will eventually make you explode and put you out of control. And this is where the situation can turn really ugly. So remember this, every time you feel anger, that is a reminder, it's a messenger that tries to tell you that you have a little bit more work to do to set yourself free. So let's get to work. Now, there are different ways of how you can channel your anger. And the main one is awareness. So it has to start with awareness always. Every time you feel angry, just before that happens, just before you get sucked into it, you have the opportunity to decide what is going to happen. And I know you can say, oh no, it happens too fast. If that's the case, replay a situation that angers you in meditation and tell your brain to stop and think just before it would normally get sucked into that state. And ask yourself, why do you really feel the way you feel? Truly, what is the true reason behind it? And just listen to what your mind says without judgment, without trying to change it. It may take more than one sitting, but that's all right. Keep trying and eventually we'll get there. So with a little bit of practice, you will be able to do that in real life situations. You will be able to stop yourself just before you would go into that blind rage and ask yourself, what is happening here? Why am I so angry? And once you have your answer, your next question should be, what do I really want to achieve here? And once you have your answer to that, act accordingly. And again, this is explained in my book. Check it out. Because remember, the situation or the person you're dealing with is simply a mirror. Hitting a mirror is pretty pointless. It's a bit stupid, in fact. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to attack a mirror. It has nothing to do with what you're feeling inside. Instead, ask yourself, how do I really want this situation to be resolved to my greatest benefit? What do I want to achieve? Now, avoid the temptation to discard this just because it sounds so simple. It is simple, but it's not easy. And you will see it once you start trying. Now, the reason why it's so powerful is because not only do you give your brain something else to do and something else to focus on, so you're not suppressing your anger, you're not swallowing it, you're actually channeling it in a creative way, but also you are rewiring your brain in the process. So you're using the power of neuroplasticity to become a new person, a better person, a stronger person, a person with a better judgment and more successful. So always remember that doing this training serves you on many levels, and having a temporary benefit of that emotional discharge that your ego may be craving is not worth it. Always have this greater benefit at the forefront of your mind. Always think, what can you achieve from this event, from this opportunity to try and take everything that happens in your life every day as your training ground, as your opportunity to become better. So just to quickly recap, the power of your awareness will help you channel your anger in the right way. Ask, what is really happening here? And what I really want to achieve. And when you're out of that situation, when you're calming down, ask yourself, what else can you be doing to not make this happen again? In other words, what kind of chink in your armor did that situation highlight? And what you can do outside of this event to make yourself greater and stronger. Remember, anger can be a friend, but only providing that you handle it well. So imagine it's a kind of a weapon, say a lightsaber, and so you don't want to point it at your face. Once you are in a calmer environment, once you can cool down a little bit, ask yourself, what kind of chink in your armor did that situation highlight? What did you learn from that about yourself, first and foremost? And what you can do moving forward to prevent this kind of reaction from happening again. So for example, if your underlying issue is insecurity and the feeling of being out of control, ask yourself, what can you do today to start building yourself up? So maybe you can exercise a little bit more and look after your health, change your diet, meditate more. And if you want to know how to meditate for the most powerful results, I'm going to post the link above. Check it out. This is how you start your meditation in the best way. Now, doing things like that allows you to feel in control. And this is exactly what this journey is about. It's about remembering your true power, because you're not your mind, you're not your body. You are the power, the awareness behind your thoughts. And your task in this life is to remind yourself of it and experience it firsthand. So every time you feel triggered, every time anger comes at you, smile at it and say, well, hello, friend. What do you want to teach me today? And instead of being sucked right into it, keep your distance. And from that safe distance, ask your anger, what is it trying to tell you? And the best way to do it, obviously, is in meditation rather than in real life conditions. Although, with a bit of practice, you will be able to do it on the go. And here is a quick meditation idea for you of how to meet your anger face to face. Now, begin your meditation in the usual way. The link is above. Relaxing your body and slowing down your breathing so you can enter the beta brainwaves. And after that, imagine yourself in a room or in a hall of some kind. And as the door opens, your anger walks in. Have a look at it and see what form it takes. It may be a person, an animal, or even some fantasy figure. Just look at it without judgment. Next, have it sit or stand at a comfortable distance from you. And once it's there, ask it, what message are you bringing to me? And simply listen. And the next question to ask is, what action do you want me to take? And again, listen to what your anger says. And afterwards, thank it for the insights and bring your attention back to your body again. With every breath, becoming more and more aware and awake. Feeling the weight of your body on the surface that's supporting it. Slowly coming back to this time and this place. When you're ready to return, wiggle your toes and your fingers and finish with a stretch, just like this, to realign yourself fully. Always finish your meditation with a stretch, because this will help you avoid being spaced out afterwards. And by the way, if that inspired you to strive for more, to become greater, and to live your purpose, you can apply to work with me directly. Link in the comments below. But let's continue. So, last but not least, there are a couple of physical things that you can do. You can use your body to help you control your anger and channel it into a positive avenue, into something creative. Firstly, what you want to do every time you feel that your anger is coming up, relax your shoulders straight away. Pull your shoulders down and relax them. This is because when you're angry, and your body knows this, it automatically tenses your shoulders and it brings them up. And if you reverse that, the body will think that you're not angry. And so it can't actually get angry if you unclench your jaw and you relax your shoulders. So if your shoulders are down, if you're relaxed, anger will not hold this way on you. It will not have the conditions it needs to actually come up. So this is step number 1. Step number 2, sorry about the cuss, London is a noisy place. Step number 2 is that if you can remove yourself from that situation that angers you, go to the bathroom, grab a towel, put it under cold running water, the emphasis is on cold water, and start squeezing it from both ends. So twist both ends in the opposite direction, squeezing out the water dry. And if you need to repeat it, repeat it. And every time you make a twist, think mindfully of your what. That question we ask at the beginning of this video. What do you want to achieve? What is really happening? And do it a few times until you feel that your anger has subsided and it becomes completely manageable. Now, step number 3 is a bit of fun, and it comes from yoga. That pose is called the Thunderbolt Posture, and it's brilliant in using not just to control your anger and to quickly dissipate any strong and powerful negative emotion that otherwise could be overwhelming, but it's also stellar before you're going to sleep. If you're struggling to fall asleep because you're too excited, you have too much energy, positive or negative, or because of intrusive thoughts, doing this posture even once or a couple of times will bring your energy level to a very manageable range and will allow you to stay in control, which is exactly what your mind is after. So if you're feeling in control, you're not angry. This is why a true fighter is never angry, because he knows his strength. So it will give your mind what it craves, that feeling of being in control. It will make your energy manageable, clearer, and healthier, because now you don't have that negative energy residue stuck in your body. Sounds good? Let's begin. And by the way, if you're able to do this exercise with me right now, let's do it together. So we begin from bringing our feet together on the floor like this. And I'm deliberately not wearing any yoga wear to show you that this can be done in any kind of clothes. So your clothing is never an excuse. Now, bring your feet together, your heels together, okay? Begin from the preparatory balancing. Yeah, like this. Okay? So find your point of balance where you can be stable. Bring your hands together, leave them above your head, and bring yourself up like this. So this is called the Thunderbolt Posture. And what you want to do is you want to find a point of collapse. You want to bring yourself to the point. Let's say open your legs a little bit up, bring your hands a little bit up. You want to collapse. So it's not an endurance exercise. You want to find a point where you can't hold it any longer. but at the same time, you're fighting that collapse. All right? Makes sense? So eventually, you will find a point where your muscles just give up and you collapse. And this is the point you're looking for. So this exercise should be really, really quick. Less than a minute for sure. It's not an endurance exercise. It's an exercise where, on one hand, you're trying to find that point of collapse. And on the other hand, you are not allowing yourself to collapse. And so you're balancing those forces until the collapsing one prevails. And the reason why I love this last one is because it does wonders for your sleeping routine. So every time you're too excited, overstressed, or can't fall asleep for whatever reason, just do the Thunderbolt posture once or twice and you will be asleep in no time. And by the way, if you're curious to learn how you can use your breath to fall asleep even faster, check out my other video above where I'm teaching you about the power of breath work. Alright, I hope you found this video useful and I hope it inspired you to become someone greater. And if you want to become someone that most people never even dream of becoming, a member of the elite spiritual forces and serve the world greatly, then apply below and see if you qualify for a personal training with me. This is all for today. I'm Jay from Aria. Thank you for watching and see you next time.